That was Nigel, the co-founder of the Lazio Club Singapore at the Stadio Olimpico, enjoying himself watching the Derby della Capitale. Of course, he is doubly happy because Lazio won that match. His banner translates to 10,000 kilometers for you, which is also the title of his ebook. Nigel is the author of the ebook 10,000 Kilometers for You, the travel diary of a football fan, the Rome Derby. You can check out his ebook. I've linked it in the description below. Buonasera. Bentornato to another episode of This is CALCIO. First up, the Derby della Capitale. Roma lost to Lazio 1-0 thanks to a Felipe Anderson goal, which wouldn't have happened without the help of Roger Ibanez. The defender was trying to get out of trouble, but Felipe Anderson pressed him really well and got the ball off Ibanez and scored past Rui Patricio. Top of the table clash, Atalanta against Napoli. Atalanta started the game really well and pressed Napoli. Napoli couldn't play their usual game. Atalanta was pressing them like crazy and eventually their efforts paid off. They got a penalty in the 18th minute and Ademola Lookman, the in-form striker, took the penalty and scored 1-0 to Atalanta. But credits to Napoli, they managed to gather themselves back and scored the equalizer less than 5 minutes later with a goal from none other than Victor Osimhen. 10 minutes after Osimhen's goal, Elif Elmas makes it 2-1 for the current leaders of the league. And that is how the match ended. Napoli unbeaten in the league so far. Next to the big one, Juventus against Inter, the Derby d'Italia. Juventus, without half of their squad, managed to get a win against Inter 2-0. And with Nicolo Fagioli scoring in his second game in a row. Filip Kostic looked to be the signing for Juventus this season, assisting in both the Bianconeri's goal in this game. And the other scores for match week 13 of the Serie A. Lecce managed a draw against Udinese while Sassuolo lost to Empoli. Salernitana and Cremonese fought an interesting battle which ended 2-2. While Milan struggled at times against Spezia, but in the end, Olivier Giroud got the winning goal and was sent off because he took off his jersey and he got his second yellow card. Scored the winning goal, get a red card. That's passion, man. Bologna managed a win against Torino 2-1. While Fiorentina got their fourth win in a row in all competitions, this time against Sampdoria. Monza continued their upward trajectory with this win against Hellas Verona. And we take a look at the table after 13 matches. Napoli is still top of the table, unbeaten, 6 points away from second, Milan. Lazio and Atalanta shares the third spot, while Juventus and Roma sharing the next with 25 points. Inter dropped to 7th with 24 points. Fiorentina at 11th with 16 points, the same as Bologna. While Cremonese, Sampdoria and Hellas Verona are still at the bottom of the table. Actually, there are midweek matches this week with most of the games have been played except for 2 matches. Before I record this episode will be released after the last two games, but yeah, so I won't know the scores for Hellas Verona against Juventus and Lazio against Monza. In the midweek match, I will talk about it next episode, including the ones for the weekend. Let's sidetrack this for a bit. We're talking about the European competitions, UEFA. As we all know, the draws have been made for the round of 16 for the Champions League, and the playoff for the knockout rounds have also been drawn for the Europa League and the Europa Conference League. We can see the Italian teams in the round of 16 for the Champions League. Milan will face Tottenham Hotspurs, and Napoli will be facing against last year's Europa League winners Eintracht Frankfurt. Inter will be up against FC Porto, while Juventus will play in the Europa League. And here we go, we see Juventus will be up against FC Nantes from Ligue 1 in France, while Roma will be up against RB Salzburg from Austria. Lazio have dropped out of the Europa League and will be competing in the Conference League. In Conference League for the playoffs, we have Fiorentina up against Braga from Portugal, while Lazio, who dropped down from the Europa League, will be facing CFR Cluj. These games will be played in February. The winners of the playoff rounds in the Europa and Conference League will get to meet the winners. Will get to meet teams from the number one spot in the group stages of each respective competitions. Okay, moving on. This weekend matches. Match week 15 of the Serie A. On Saturday morning, we have Empoli up against Cremonese. On Saturday night, Napoli up against Udinese. Sunday morning, we have Sampdoria up against Lecce. Bologna up against Sassuolo, while Sunday night, Atalanta up against Inter Milan. Follow that up with Roma up against Torino, Monza against Salernitana, Hellas Verona up against Spezia. And Monday morning, we have two great matches to look forward to. Milan up against Fiorentina, while Juventus will face Lazio. These will be the last matches for 2022, as all the leagues will pause because of the World Cup in Qatar, which will happen in about a week from now. So and of course, Serie A will have a break after the World Cup, winter break as we call it, which the Premier League doesn't have. So all the clubs will be back playing domestic football again back in January. So this is just a really short update, tell you what's happening. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Ciao ciao.